The scene is set in John Stanhope's car, driving away from the tea shop in Chinatown where he met the prince. His head is swimming. The tranquilizers he gave himself are clogging up his mind, clouding his reactions, making him lose focus. From the corner of his eye, he can see a shadow and hear the faint buzz of the black flies of his beast. His anger starts to bubble to the surface, but is forced down by the chemicals swimming within his brain. He thinks of his meeting with the prince. The words he said, his lack of focus. He rages impotently, losing control. I had all the cards in that situation, and I still lost. He deflected, and I could not focus on the retort, could not draw him into my web. This will not do. This invader to my mind must be purged. Sooner rather than later. Geoffrey, John says, banging his cane clumsily against the glass. Take me to the clinic. The car pulls into the middle class area of the district, heading to one of the more well-stocked clinics that John owns. He gets out and strides within a familiar face and heads towards the pharmacy, the lab in which they mix the various narcotics and medicines for the patients. With a growl, he simply tells the attendants to get out. They do so. And he starts to work amongst the pills and bottles, the liquids and tinctures, and begins to concoct he starts to go through the various medicines, the drugs. The role is intelligence and medicine. With 5 successes, in no time at all, he grabs the antipsychotics, the barbiturates, the tranquilizers, the mood stabilizers, and begins to concoct with thin powder, beakers and jars. He begins to concoct a heady brew, something that will dull the beast's voice in his head without making him lose focus. The door bursts open. The clinic's director, Alex Black, comes in. "What the hell are you doing?" John turns evilly. "Get out." "I will not leave. You've gone too far this time, John. Look, I run this clinic. If anyone here saw you, if those laboratorians blabbed, that would be the end of both of us. This is highly inappropriate conduct." "You will do as you're told," John snarls. You are nothing but my tool." Taken aback by the blunt words, Alex is not sure how to react. He's used to Mr. Stanhope being cordial, being supportive of his activities. his own predilection to narcotics keeps him under control. But this will not do. He will not risk his career. He will not allow John to drag them both down. And he says, "Are you on something?" "That is none of your concern." I said, "Get out." That is enough. I will not have you speak to me in that tone," the doctor says, plucking up a new form of courage. He begins to turn and head out the door. "I'm going to call the police. The board of directors will be very interested in your new activities." At which John turns, getting out his claw and grabbing Alex. "You will do no such thing." Enhancing blood into his strength, he throws the mortal down, pitting him with his gaze. "You are my design, my tool. I will strip you to your barest until you are more pliable." In John's drug-addled state, he lacks the focus for any specific alteration. He simply talks, mumbling, knowing little else but to enhance his words with dominate. There is no command. It is simply an influence of kindred power into his words. He reaches into his mind, drawing forth memories, tearing them down, wrenching his will away from him. In that moment, in that calm veneer, as the drugs work in John's brain, no longer held back, John lets go and falls into the mind of Dr. Black and starts to tear down his defenses crudely, not like a surgeon with a knife, but with a sledgehammer, smashing down his resistance, his will to resist John. When John tears himself away, the man is on the floor, drooling. John grabs his head, finally understanding. He leans over. "You will not speak of this to anyone," he says, using his dominate. That's a good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes. Writing down the drug on a prescription pad, John heads out of the lab, leaving Alex drooling there, his mind torn asunder. It will be several hours before it pieces itself back together. John will visit him again. The man cannot betray him just yet, and nor will he have the chance. John has figured the first step in what his sire used to do to him. It is easier to destroy than to create. And with dominate, the ability to tear down one's resistance is the first step to complete control.